I think today it'll be a little bit of a philosophical day, in that he's going to have to talk about what happened in the meeting. I would think he's going to give his take on what the current situation is in the economy with employment and inflation, and I would think he's going to make a few points about his approach, his philosophical approach, in that. For example, he's going to want to see robust debate and disagreement inside the room. He's going to want to see less predicting by the Fed, less prognostication. He's going to want to see, though, patience, and that over the horizon, some of the structural drivers, AI adoption, Chinese overcapacity. He wants to be patient to see the disinflationary impacts. And he's going to have to, though, acknowledge that we're in an inflationary, sticky inflationary period right now. The war and straight opening will help, but he's going to have to also, I would hope he'll say, listen, if that inflation we think is going to be persistent, that he's going to have to make clear he's prepared to act. So he's going to have to give people a little bit of a feel for him, establish his credibility, and I think this is a good opportunity to do that.
Robert, how is his I guess, reputation within members of the Fed today as he walks in for his first meeting here? How is he perceived within this Fed Reserve?
Well, if you were just reading the newspapers and watching TV, you might get a sense, he's been an outside critic of the Fed. He's been critical of some of the mistakes they've made. I think now that he's inside, people may find this hard to believe, but my own view is a lot of that gets washed away. He's now one of us.
Yep.
He's our leader. I want him to do well. We want him to do well. I want to work well with him. And so I think the judgments on him from here by people at the Fed will be based on what he does now. How does he communicate with us? How does he run the meeting? How easy is he to work with? How constructive is he? And so they'll be open-minded, and they're going to want to. I would think, if I in my former seat, I'd want to do whatever I could to help him get off to a good start, and I think that'll be the dynamic.
So, DOTS, one of the favorite functions on the Bloomberg terminal, the dots, getting a sense of kind of where the Fed is. Is that something that you think he may want, Mr. Warsh may want to do away with as he thinks about how the Fed should be communicating to global Wall Street?
Probably, yes. The question is, how does he get from here to there, given the dot plot's been around now for a number of years? But yeah, I think he wants them to go less, and I agree with this to some extent, less on the prognostications. Don't get yourself boxed in by some predictions you've made. Leave yourself the opportunity to change your mind. I always said the dot plot had the shelf life of an unrefrigerated carton of milk, meaning
Yep.
I go in there to the meeting, I give my views on the outlook, I give my views on the long run neutral rate, on the dots, and if something happens 2 weeks later, I may change my mind. And I think he knows that. And I think there'll be a lot of people around the FOMC table who will actually be, won't be sorry that he wants to curtail that. Because it's put him in some awkward situations at times around the committee. But how he orchestrates it and how he works with the members to make sure that he gets buy-in for that, I don't know how he plans to do that, but I would think you'll see the trend will be toward re-reviewing that and predicting less.
Rob, the inflation story is a challenge here for consumers in the marketplace. It's also a challenge for this Federal Reserve as they think about their dual mandate. How do you think they're looking at inflation here? As we do have oil, coming down off of those highs from earlier in the year, but still probably higher than people would like to see.
Yeah. So to me, the way I look at this, there's the monthly data, but the more important, bigger picture dynamic is we are in a CapEx AI-driven, power data center-driven CapEx boom in the United States, and to some extent globally, but particularly in the United States. At the same time, due to tariffs, curtailment of immigration, so we have labor constraints, and then the third has been oil, which hopefully is getting resolved. You've got resource constraints while we've got a CapEx boom that calls on those resources. And so to me, it's not a shocker that the CapEx part of AI, the infrastructure build, is going to make inflation stickier. The adoption part over the horizon should be disinflationary, but we're right now in the teeth of the CapEx part. And so the Strait of Hormuz being open, oil prices going down, that'll definitely help. And I think what it does is it for those who are more inclined to say we should be raising rates, I would think this bolsters the argument. Let's kick the can a little longer for several months and see how this oil price decline, the bleed stops from that, and let's see if we start to see a cooling in the inflation reads. And so I would guess Kevin Warsh will be arguing for patience, and I think the Strait being open helps with that. But the oil price is not the only issue. You've got this structural issue, which they have to be aware of and monitor and contend with.
We're speaking with Robert Kaplan. He's the vice chairman at Goldman Sachs. He's former president of the Dallas Fed as well. Robert, you're mentioning AI, and you and your colleagues at Goldman Sachs are kind of right at the nexus of the capital formation, kind of fueling the growth of this AI thing. How do you guys, I guess we're in year 3 or 4 of really having an understanding of what AI can be. How are you guys thinking about this now as you work with your clients at Goldman Sachs?
So there's a couple of different tracks, and yes, we're in the middle of both of these. First, there's the infrastructure build, in that we need more compute. For as much compute is on the drawing boards, we need to create more compute, and adoption is outpacing the demand for compute is outpacing the supply. So that means data centers, power, other infrastructure. And the CapEx related to that is creating all sorts of opportunities for Wall Street to raise capital, debt, equity, et cetera. There's then the AI adoption and the companies that are in the middle of that. And those companies are busy also growing and raising capital. I'll avoid specific names. But even most recently, SpaceX is part of that story, both the infrastructure and adoption stories. And so we are raising capital for that. And every client that I work on and that we're working on is involved in rethinking their business and their processes and using AI to improve their productivity, improve their distinctive value proposition, and they believe that if they don't do that, they're going to be left behind. And so this is also driving, in my opinion, substantial amount of merger activity, and that's why you're seeing so many mergers. Not all because of this, but it's a big part of the story where I want more size and scale and ability to invest and bolster for this AI adoption, because we're going to have to disrupt our own businesses so we can be competitive, and our competitors are going to be doing that. And so we're seeing it in multiple different channels.